What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Acura Audio Garage. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the Acura ILX dash kit, how it came to be, how to assemble it, and how you can get one for your ILX. So it all started with this right here. So this is a factory bezel that we cut up, spray painted black, and put tape around. So this was just an idea to show people, hey, like, what would you think if this was available for your car? We got a lot of good feedback, so we started doing some prototyping. We ended up getting a factory radio scan, so 3D scan. They were able to capture all the angles, all the ridges. From there, we started modeling, and we ended up with something like this. This is ABS 3D printed, but you can see it's really rough. You can see like the finish is terrible. It's like just not a good. This isn't something you could sell, but it was something that allowed us to test the fitment of the dash kit to make sure we had everything right. You know, all the clips line up, all the holes line up. So then from there, we went to multiple revisions of the ABS mold, and after this was ready, we started working on the brackets. The brackets also needed their own revisions because something that we noticed was that the bracket, the way we had designed it to support the radio, was actually stopping the radio from coming all the way in when you were dealing with a thicker, bigger unit, and some of these holes weren't lining up. So we revised our bracket to have more holes and to eliminate that stop. So you can see there's no more stop here in this edge, so you could fit any size double din radio. And we'll go over your radio choices later on. Just wanted to show you there's been a lot of work that has gone into this, and I'm really proud of what we've come up with, and I hope that you enjoy it and it works for you. So if you do decide to buy a dash kit, what you're going to get is the actual main piece with the clips already on it, so you don't have to transfer clips from one to the other, and then a matching left and right bracket. They only line up one way, so this one goes here and then this one goes on this side. So that's how they line up, and then you get 4 mounting screws to secure the brackets to the dash kit. Something that I made sure to have on our dash kit, because I've run into issues with other dash kits as an installer, is to have reinforced mounting locations. So all these have ridges on them so that when you do go to turn that screw, they don't break off or come loose. They'll support the brackets nicely. The other thing is we did add an extra layer of support with a ridge here so that this keeps any heavy double din radio in place. So if you've ever installed like a high-end Sony with the high power amplifier, or a high-end Kenwood or Pioneer, they are heavier units and they can sag your dash kit down, but this has the support and it puts off all that weight onto these clips. On top of that, this is still secured like the factory, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. This still has the same mounting point as the factory to also support your radio. So this right here still mounts to the car the same way. So even if you have a heavier double din, it still can support the weight. This is meant for double din radios, but I will show you a single din and how it looks, and you can make the decision which one you want to use. Just know that it won't come with a pocket. You'll have to get a pocket yourself. Assembly real quick. So from the factory, you're gonna have to transfer this switch. This switch is held on by 2 screws that look just like this. They are Phillips screws, and you can see there's one here and one here. After you get the switch loose, this is the mechanism you end up with, and you're just gonna mount it to this dash kit. There is a indent here to help you line it up, and you're gonna notice it's a real tight fit, but it will fit in there. So you just wanna hold it a little bit while you secure it. So with holding this down, I can put my first screw in, and then I can put my second screw. You want to just be hand tight. You don't want to do this with tools because you can break off the plastic and damage it. Even though it has extra support, a gun just has so much torque that it can break them off. But there you go. My hazard switch is now taken care of. It's nicely mounted. Now I need to take care of my brackets. So these are the newest revision of the brackets, and the way that they mount is this hole mounts up here and this hole mounts down here. You can see that they have little slits so that they can accommodate a little bit of a thicker radio or come in closer for a thinner radio. Now, usually all of the big name companies that you know make head units that are traditional size. but there are units on Amazon or from companies overseas that are a little thicker. That's why we set this up to be a little adjustable so you could fit that little bit of a thicker unit. So you're going to secure the bracket to the body with the supplied screws. And again, you want to use your hand tools. You don't want to torque these down with a drill because you could possibly break off the plastic. So taking care of this screw, now I'm going to take care of this second screw. Something that we didn't think about till after later revisions is when you go to mount it, we should have left a hole here to allow you to mount it, but we're afraid that that hole might have weakened this plastic, so we opted not to do it. But it doesn't make this a little bit more tricky. So if you're using a screwdriver like this one, you're gonna kind of have to come in at an angle and start twisting it down. And then the dash kit has enough flex where it'll flex out of the way for you to tighten it. If that scares you or if you think it's gonna break, then you can use a smaller screwdriver. Something like this guy right here will fit right into this little nook, and you can use this to tighten the screw. Or if you don't have a smaller screwdriver like that one, you can use like a ratcheting mechanism like this one to come in here and tighten this screw. Now I don't think this is necessary. I think you can just get away with this at an angle and just kind of flex this a little bit out of the way, but it's up to you how you want to do it. Just know we did think about that, but just made the decision that we didn't want to weaken this plastic, and the flex here is good enough, or if not, tools like this exist where you can combat that. So now we're going to mount our other side. See, it's like giving me a little bit of trouble. I'm just going to flex this a little bit out of the way, tighten it down, and make sure I got this one tight as well. Now you might have to loosen these when you go to install your radio so that you have more room, but this is a good starting point. So now my dash kit is ready. I can mount my radio. To mount my radio, we do have a variety of holes. I find that these right here line up most radios, but these do come in handy for other applications. Now something else you got to consider is if you want your radio to sit flush this way, or if you want it to be aimed a little towards you. We figured the average person would want it aimed a little towards them, and you'll see these holes will make more sense when we do that. So let me get a couple radios and I'll show them to you. The first radio we have here is the eBay Amazon special. So you'll see these everywhere on Amazon and eBay. They're usually 40 or 50 bucks. The reason why I wanted to show you this radio first is because this is everyone's choice when they go aftermarket radio for some weird reason. I don't recommend these. They kind of fit into the dash kit, kind of don't, but I'll give you a view of what it looks like. So I'm going to slide it from the back into the front. So you can see I just can't clear enough space with this radio. These are always made just a little bit too big, and if we were to accommodate this radio, some of our other ones wouldn't fit correctly. So we made the choice to not support these. Now, some of these might fit, but your cheapest ones aren't going to, so don't try it. If you want a cheap radio, I'll show you which one to get. So these right here you can find on Amazon. They're usually around 80 to 90 bucks. This is a CA60 BT, and you'll see this one's gonna fit nice and smooth in our dash kit and give us no issues. So there you go, slid right in. It's the right size. You can see all of our edges are tight, and that's why we chose not to support radios like this, because we wanted a good flush fitting kit for your better radios. And here you can see my mounting holes line up. I have holes here, have a hole up here, and this is what I'm talking about. Look, so right now this edge right here is a little out. If I tilt it back, I can get it flush with this, and then you'll see that more of my holes line up. So it's up to you. We did set it up where you could use both, but I think the better angle is like that, so that your radio's tilted up a little bit more at you. But here's what your Amazon special radios will look like. So these will work with our kit. Just make sure you buy something like this. So this is the 60 CA BT. This is what it looks like compared to something like this that is thicker and bigger. The connections are very similar, but this one won't fit, this one will. All right, so now we're gonna move on to something more traditional. So this is a Pioneer unit. Pioneer's top of the line. Believe it or not, the actual factory radio in your ILX is from Pioneer. But again, aftermarket Pioneer radio. Let's see how this fits. So what I don't like about these new Pioneers is that this edge is very small, but it still fits into our dash kit and it looks pretty good. I'll show you. So slide it right in, and you can see it sits nice and flush. There is like a little bit of a step here, but it's the design of the dash kit and the radio combined that create that. So I'm gonna show you a Sony radio later on and you'll see the difference. You can see the Pioneer looks good, it's nice and flush. This has the same thing where like you can mount it really flush with this or a little bit tilted up. But as you can see, we have holes that line up with this radio. We have this one up here and down here, and same thing on the other side. I'm going to secure this radio to the dash kit later on to show you, but right now I want to move down the list with the other radios we have. Here we have a Sony radio in the dash kit, and these are the ones I think are going to sit the best, are ones with a button bar down here. And you can see that the screen is flush, but this button bar sits just a little bit further out, and that's what you want, so that this sits flush with the dash kit and this sits flush with the dash kit. This one's angled out a little bit more, so I'm going to adjust these screws, but I wanted to show you kind of how these look. So this is a AX3200. All of your Sony radios are going to have the same design. They're all going to look pretty good in the dash kit. If you want a Pioneer or a Kenwood, you want the ones with the buttons on the bottom. So it's going to be like a 9708 from Kenwood, or like the 1500 NEX from Pioneer, or 4500 NEX from Pioneer. Those are all sit nice and flush like this one does. So here's my Pioneer radio mounted in. 2 screws on each side is more than enough to secure the radio to the dash kit. If you feel like you can't get any holes to line up with your radio, you can drill new holes. This is plastic. It'll support you drilling another hole in it. Now, here's what the Pioneer looks like. If you don't like this gap here, or you feel like that's ugly, you can choose a different radio. So like the Sony I showed you earlier, see, there is no gap there because that's where your buttons are. But on your Pioneer, that's a touchscreen with the buttons here. This is what it's going to look like. In our installation or demo video, you can see we used a Pioneer MVH 1500 NEX, and that has the buttons at the bottom. So if that's what you're trying to accomplish, that's the radio you want to pick up. So there's a panel here that you have to just pull. You don't have to fully remove it. You just pull it off so you could expose this screw. You then can take this screw out with a Phillips screwdriver, and you're going to leave that panel there just hanging. Your next step is going to be to pull this off. You're going to take your pry tool, you'll start in this edge, and you'll begin popping this off. Once this is off, it'll pop right off. You'll have one connector. You disconnect the connector, you can put this to the side. Then on your opposite side, we have another panel we need to pop off. You could start right in this edge here and just kind of come up and out, and then keep going down the panel. You can here continue with your hands, or the pry tool is up to you, but you're just going to continue to pry, and then this will come up. After you get that one out, you can then remove your climate control. After you remove this screw, this is just going to pop out. There will be another panel here that looks like it's holding it, but it's not. You're just going to pull with moderate force till you get it out, and then you'll have 2 harnesses here that you'll have to disconnect. They're both pull tabs. Before you can pull the radio, you're going to want to remove an 8mm bolt here and an 8mm bolt here. You can use a Phillips head or an 8mm socket to remove it. Once those are out, you're going to stick your hand in through the climate control gap and push from the inside out to release the radio. It's clipped in right now, so you'll get a good idea. That's how much force you're going to have to use. And then at the top, you can take your pry tool and use it to unclip the radio from this piece. Let me pull the piece so I can show you. From this piece. If this comes together out as one unit, you're going to need to unclip it so that you can disconnect this top connector, because this top connector won't let you come any further. After that, you can come about this far, and then you can disconnect all the connections into the audio unit. So the connection I want to talk to you about is this one right here. This might be a connector you have never seen before, and the way you deal with this is you have to push this tab down in order to swing this open. So you can see it's not going to swing open like that. You need to stick your little fingernail in here and pull this down to release it. And I'll get you closer on video. So that little white tab right there, this needs to come down in order for it to release. And when you go to plug it in, it needs to line up so that it closes and you hear that click. Now it's locked into place. So this is the only one that can be tricky. All the other ones are just regular pull tabs. And on your base or your premium, you're not going to have this many connectors. This is one with navigation. So to install your new radio, you're going to want to put this piece back. So you're just going to slide it into place and then clip it down. Then you're going to want to connect your connector for your hazards first. So it's going to be a very tight fit. After that's connected, make sure you tuck all your wires behind the radio. There'll be more than enough space. And you want to line up your radio so that your screw holes on your corners here, and here line up so you can secure those bolts again. And then you're just going to clip this into place, and you hear those clips. You want to make sure that everything clips in, and you'll have a flush mount here and on the sides. So now everything's clipped in place. You can put all your trim pieces back. So you can put this trim back, this trim back. Just remember to put this screw and the climate control back before you put this trim piece back on. But that's going to cover everything, guys. I showed you how to take it out, how it all goes together. This project has taken about a year and a half. We're a small company. We don't have a ton of resources or a ton of people, so it took a while. We finally got it together. It's just about to launch. They're making them as we speak. So if you want one, you can pre-order, or you can order when they are available. Find the link down in the description or in the comments, or I think our YouTube channel now has the product, so it should show you the product. If you have any constructive criticism, or if you want to submit any feedback, feel free to leave it down in the comments. We always are looking to improve our products, so if we can, we will. We've already heard that people say that this space could be used for something, maybe a pocket or a phone charger or something. It's up to you. For the mold cost, adding something here was going to be extravagant, so we just decided not to do it. But in the future, we were thinking about maybe keeping the factory navigation and using that space to add the knob back. But again, these are all ideas. If anything solid does happen, we'll update you. But I appreciate you watching. If you want a dash kit, I already told you where to find it. If you're looking for your radio choices, you can find some on our website, or you can just choose any radio you want. When you go to order this thing, you're going to want the complete kit, because it's going to include everything, a wired harness and the steering wheel control adapter. If you just want the dash kit, you can buy just the dash kit. And there's another video along with this one that's going to cover all the information on what you need to know to upgrade. This was just how the dash kit goes together and how it fits. And then the other video is a demonstration of how it works. But this last video I'm talking to you about is going to be how all the wiring and everything works and what you need to know before making this decision.